everyone, welcome to my channel if you are new, or welcome back if you are a returning subscriber. My name is Ellie and I recently completed Disney's Cultural Representative Program. This is basically a program that happens in Walt Disney World where you get to represent your culture and your country where you come from for a whole year working in Epcot. I specifically worked in the United Kingdom Pavilion because obviously I'm from the UK. A couple of things before we get started. The weather is so bad outside. I don't know if the wind and rain, you can hear it. If you can, I'm sorry. If you can't, forget I ever said it. Also, because of that, it's really dark in here, so I've had to put like my big light on. It might be flickering a tiny bit, I'm not sure. So, I have a special friend with me today. So yeah, if you see him shuffling around, he's down here. So basically, I've been doing a video series for about a couple of months now. I pretty much started it in 2020 because I had a lot of people ask me a lot of questions about the process of applying. Basically, I've been doing a video every week about different segments of the application process for the CRP. This week is going to be about the Yummy Jobs pre-screen interviews. So before you've done all this, you've done all of your written application, you've submitted it, and then you wait for the applications to close, and that's when you then hear back from Yummy Jobs inviting you to, oh, hello, oh, okay, your ears everywhere. And that's when you hear back from Yummy Jobs whether you're invited to a pre-screen interview. At this point, you can be rejected. This is where I kept getting rejected. I found it really difficult to try and get my CV across, to try and get me across in my CV, so that's why, like in all the previous videos where I've talked about the CV and the cover letter, that I think it's really important that you do get as much of your personality across as possible in the CV and cover letter and your application question. The pre-screen interviews happen at Yummy Jobs HQ. This is in Epsom in Essex. Now, the best thing about the pre-screen interviews is the best way to meet people. They're people that you might actually end up working with. I had one person in my pre-screen interview that ended up being in my arrival group, and another person who was arriving literally the week after me. So you really will be meeting people that you're going to be working with. I get so many people ask me like, how were you friends with all these people before you went out there? How did you meet them? Blah, blah, blah. But I literally met them at the interviews. People stay in touch. They make a lot of groups on Facebook. So it's like a really good way to find people that are going to be in your arrival group. So the Yummy Jobs pre-screen interviews actually happen over a few days. I think maybe three different days they do. You don't have to attend all three. You will get invited to one or the other sort of thing. I think they're kind of lenient. If you can't attend one, that does mean you can ask if you can attend another one. Don't quote me on that, but I'm guessing that's why they do it. So they have a few different days and they have so many people they need to see, they have to spread it out on a few days. So when you arrive, you are giving a sticker with your name on and it'll say a group on it. I have mine somewhere. I don't know where, but I still have it. It'll say your name and just like a group. I think I was group Dopey maybe. You get there, you will sit down, you watch this little PowerPoint. It's basically like showing you pictures from the program, explaining what you'll be doing, where you'll be living, some of the costs, some of the living costs, how much you'll get paid, just all those basic things that you can pretty much read about online anyway. So I'd say this lasts for about an hour. It's a really good way to start meeting people, stuff like that. You'll then be given a time slot, I believe it's on your sticker, that you then come back for your group interview, and then you have your individual interview later as well. So after the PowerPoint, you'll either stay in the room because your group interview will be straight away, or you'll have time to go away and come back again. I believe mine was straight away. So you go into the room, you have two of the Yummy Job recruiters in the room with you, and there was about 6 of us in the room, and that's when they'll start asking you questions. I'm not here to tell you everything that they're going to be asking you in the interviews. I think it's better to not be surprised, but to think about things that you'll say on the spot instead of thinking about it for a million years before you even get there. One thing I will say is that they do ask you to bring something from home that you think best represents your hometown. I'm not going to say what I brought because I think it's really important to bring stuff specific to where you're from, but I've known people that have taken food, collector's things, pictures, old things, like anything that you think is relevant to your hometown. It's a really nice way to break the ice, and you have to do a little presentation about it, and it's a good way to show off your confidence and your personality, making jokes if you're a jokey person, all those kind of things. And you can maybe do something that's interactive, play some music. It's a nice way to break the ice, I think, with your group and with the Yummy Jobs recruiters as well. So once you've done that brief PowerPoint about something that's important to you, the recruiters will then ask you questions just about your previous experience, all that sort of stuff. The whole point of the group interview is they basically want to see how you act around others, if you're quite easy to get along with, if you're confident, you shine to the background. That's basically what they're trying to see. So this is really important that your personality shines. Another activity that you then do, they split that group into 2 halves, and you then have to design a attraction for the United Kingdom Pavilion, which, you know, is kind of ironic now because they're putting in a Mary Poppins attraction. So once the Mary Poppins attraction is there, whether they'll still do it, I don't know. At 10 minutes you get like a big mind map, all the things that you like to put into it, and maybe the cast members and the show and the magic, and you then have to present it to the rest of the group. So if you are a confident person, it is quite an easy way to just put on a show for everyone and really show how you would act if you were working at Walt Disney World, because the whole time you're working at Walt Disney World, you are still putting on a show. So after that group interview, you then go away and you're giving a time slot for your individual interview. This is where you will be one-on-one with Yummy Jobs recruiter. From memory, I had about 3-4 hours in between that first interview and my individual interview. So that was kind of frustrating, but it was great because it meant that I got to spend a lot of time with people that I might possibly be on a program with. And looking back, I was with people that I ended up being on a program with, and it's so strange. Hindsight is such a funny thing because you have no idea at the time, but you look back and you're like, that's so weird. We just went for food from memory. I remember being literally so nervous. I felt sick. I could barely eat. I was literally like forcing myself to eat food. After that, you go back and you have your individual interview with the Yummy Jobs recruiter. This is when they're going to be asking you more specific questions like, how do you feel living with other people? How do you feel about culture? How do you think you'll represent the UK? Why do you want to work at Walt Disney World? What experience do you have? All these sort of things that you basically have been already talking about in your application. So it should be completely easy. It's just going to be saying the words out loud instead of writing them down this time. Obviously it is going to be a face-to-face interview, and that individual interview is just as important as the group interview because it's all on you. There's not eyes on anybody else. You're not competing for the limelight with anyone else. It is just on you. So make sure you are thinking about what you're saying before it comes out of your mouth. Make sure you're thinking about that Disney brand and the Disney brand ethic and all of the things that Disney might stand for. I feel like I can only offer advice on the interviews because you need to be yourself, let your personality shine. Think about why you want to work at Walt Disney World, why you want to represent the UK, and you can reference back to your CV, to your cover letter and your application questions. That's exactly why they're there, because they'll have them out in front of them so they can see all the things you've done already. There's a reason why you've got to this interview stage, and you just need to make sure that you're continuing on that path instead of freaking out and saying, no, I can't do this, because you definitely can. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't want to delve into the questions too deep because it has been maybe 3 years. It's been 3 years since I had my Yummy Job interview this September, so I'm presuming the questions have probably changed. There is a lot of the questions out on the internet. There's a million blog posts about what they will ask you, so don't worry, it is all out there. You can read it if you want to do loads of research, but I'm not here to tell you exactly what they're going to say. I just want to give you guys the best advice that I can. Yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next week.